So we have a big announcement. TechBrits has been bought by Elon Musk, which means that we'd probably have about a week left before we're fired.
A week?
A week at most. Maybe a few days. I'm Ryan Dawes.
And I'm George Lim.
And this is TechBrits, and we are going to be talking about the chaos at Twitter, and there has been a lot of it. Yep, so as we just alluded to there at the start, within days of Elon Musk taking over Twitter, he laid off most of Twitter's staff. In fact, just today it was announced that the former CEO and several other execs are suing Twitter over legal expenses, so it's all kicking off over there. Things have been breaking left, right and centre. Yeah. Again, today it was announced that, or not exactly announced, like it was a feature, there was a bug that circles, which are supposed to be private tweets to a certain group of people, right, has been popping up left, right and centre in people's general feeds. So that's been leading to some awkward stuff. And of course, it's just unclear what is and isn't allowed now on the platform.
Yeah, Twitter's going through a bit of a phase.
We'll call it a phase. The teenage phase.
Teenage phase. Twitter's been around for a very long time. It was around when we did the show a long while. It's been around since 2006, and it's been going from, I'd argue, prior to the acquisition, it was going fairly stagnant. There wasn't much change. They went from 140 to 280 characters, for example. But since the acquisition, it has just been change after change after change, which I don't know if anyone can rightfully go, this was a good idea.
No, and you said there about the character tweets. So I was among those who was initially hesitant about that jumping up to 280. I must admit it was a good thing. Now I think like it just allows you to kind of expand on your thoughts a little bit more. But now obviously Twitter Blue users are starting to be able to put essentially whole Facebook walls of text.
1,000 characters to get onto some of the Twitter.
It just kills the whole idea of microblogging. At that point, you might as well have a WordPress.
Yeah. There's been a lot of changes. Most recently, Twitter Inc. has ceased, and they've now sort of, is it a new umbrella company called X?
That's right, yeah. So I think they're going to go down the route of kind of like China's WeChat, like a one app for everything type.
Which I actually think, so when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he actually explicitly said that's kind of his goal. And I don't think that's a terrible idea. I actually really like the way that WeChat works. However, I don't think Twitter's, you don't try and do it off the back of a platform that already existed in a very stable way. You create something new and kind of invite people and let people use Twitter, Facebook, and all the other logins. That's how things are sort of, I want to say, done in the West. I'm aware that kind of is a little bit counterintuitive if you're wanting a one app for everything. But I don't think buying Twitter and then trying to reverse engineer it to become that is the right way about it.
Yeah, and it's the concerns around centralization and censorship is obviously a big kind of topic, and sort of whether Twitter is going too far, not far enough under Musk, and the whole
piece.
Fiasco.
Yeah, but in terms of the legacy stuff, a lot of the big news coming out recently is just prior to April, Elon Musk announced that he'd be removing legacy Twitter Blue users. Yeah. So just a quick overview of Twitter Blue. So a lot of people, a lot of articles and a lot of people are missing the fact that Twitter Blue has been a thing for a while. It's been a thing for a long time, but it failed the first time because they weren't quite sure how do you monetize a platform like Twitter?
Yeah, and that's always been the big sort of issue is the monetization of it.
So it gave us the option for things like undo tweets, bookmarking tweets, which is a very simple functionality that realistically should be free. Giving you a reader mode for threads, which I think is actually quite useful, and giving things like NFT user profiles and things like that. Yeah, it was $2.99. It went up to $4.99. Elon Musk buys Twitter. It's now $8 or £11 or $11 if you're using iOS or Android when they bring out the Android version. But now it gives you Twitter Blue, which is the lovely blue tick. Yeah. And then there's the combination of the blue tick with the people who used to have the blue tick. There's also now a gold tick.
Again, it's like
now a gray tick.
Yeah, the blue tick was always a sign of this person is reputable, they're trustworthy, and that's now gone for a lot of people who actually are. and people who maybe shouldn't be so trusted now have the blue tick. So it's again just that very confusing.
Just before Elon bought the company, when they reopened the verification process, it actually required you to have a Wikipedia page about yourself. Now, Wikipedia is not the most. It's a fairly trustworthy source. I think we can all agree. Yes, it is user generated for the most part, but
you have people checking the information almost constantly.
And like for notable people, especially, and notable businesses and things like that, is you're not going to build an entire Wikipedia page and then be like, I got one. It's like, yeah, but that was created yesterday, so this going to hit something's up. But now, none of that. Twitter verification is your credit card. You pay and you get your blue tick. One of the things that has currently happened since he announced that he was going to be removing the old one is instead of removing the old ticks, he's now merged them.
Mm-hmm.
So now all users, we've never been verified in the old terms, but all users now, if you have a blue tick, if you click on the blue tick, it will show whether it will show
legacy verification
or a blue user.
Mm-hmm.
It now says you are either or. This person was either a legacy person or a Twitter blue paying subscriber.
With all this chaos going on, and Mastodon, obviously their popularity surged. That's obviously a partially decentralized solution. It's a little bit complicated because it requires people to run their own servers, which are obviously increasingly more expensive as video and file sizes just get bigger and bigger. It becomes quite a costly thing to keep running. And if any of those servers shut down before a user can migrate to another one, then that user has lost everything. They've lost all of their following that they might have built over potentially years. They've lost all of their tweets, so all of the content and stuff they've posted.
And the weird thing about it being decentralized, on paper it sounds like a great idea, but it means that you're giving your information to someone who's just running the server.
This is it, yeah. It's not fully decentralized, so it is partially. And so for people, especially like the crypto bros who really want everything to be fully decentralized and sort of beyond government shutdowns and that sort of thing, which, is an approach. I kind of get that. It doesn't feel that need because of a government can quite easily get hold of a server and shut that server down.
Right.
So it's not really catering to the full sort of decentralization aspect. So it's this kind of like limbo sort of solution.
I remember when, Elon Musk bought Twitter and Mastodon was the big, join Mastodon was trending and on Twitter and everyone was sort of jumping ship. I think the problem Mastodon has is, like you said, but that complication to entry, and that's why even with all the changes and even with everything that's going on, I think Twitter is going to prevail. I think for the most part, Twitter will stay very relevant for a long time because that's where the users are, that's where the eyes are. And, you can't have a platform succeed if the eyes aren't there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've been on Twitter for a long time now. We both have. I've built up a fairly sort of okay following over sort of many years I've been on it, so I don't intend on leaving it. I do quite like that Mastodon has its kind of own identity in that it has very interesting sort of siloed communities that they're sort of quite good. They're quite sort of technical most of the time because of it's not that user approachable. Yeah. So I think that it kind of has that going for it.
It's kind of got it's almost like a Reddit approach, but with microblogging.
Yes, yeah, similar to that. If you want a fully decentralized approach, there is a social protocol called Nostr, which is supported by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. Oh. And that is a fully decentralized solution. That also means you can't edit tweets, I'm afraid. Once they're up there, they are permanently up there. So it was created by a developer of Bitcoin's Lightning Network. So it's very, very crypto bro heavy at the moment. So if you want to go down that and you really sort of believe in Web3 and full decentralization, then that's a potential. Now there is a company or a public benefit LLC, which was spun out of Twitter and was fully founded by Jack Dorsey, and that is called Bluesky.
I've heard of Bluesky.
Yeah,
which is ironically where birds fly and tweet.
Yeah, which I believe is probably what they were going for there. The key appeal to this one is that it has what they're calling a marketplace of algorithms. So the algorithms and how content is suggested and moderated, that's always been the big kind of thing that people debate. But with this, people will be able to decide exactly how they want their feeds to be delivered to them. So if you want really heavy sort of content moderation, then you can essentially make the feed like that yourself. If you want one which filters out all movie spoilers, that's something you can do. So
is it out?
You can sign up for the beta at the moment. But I've not had no success getting into that yet. So maybe I'll return more with more views on the actual platform.
One day you'll either see Ryan on there or you'll see TechBrits on there, but at the moment, can't get on.
Yeah. So Bluesky says about this marketplace of algorithms that the problem isn't algorithms. The problem is a lack of transparency and control around how algorithms are used to direct your attention, which is something I very much believe in as a sort of key sort of prospect. But
as a society, we've accidentally stumbled. I mean, I say we accidentally. This is kind of how we've ended up working. Is algorithms dictate our lives? I think that's fair to say. You know, ultimately, you watching this, you may have seen this in your recommended feed, or you may have seen this on the side of another video, and that's an algorithm telling you to watch it. Thanks, by the way. But I think there is a place for less algorithmically driven. The issue I've got with that is content discovery. You know, if you're following someone and the algorithm, you're not relying on an algorithm. You're following someone, you can see what they're saying. You'll see with their videos, tweets, photos, whatever platform they're on. But without the algorithm, I struggle to discover. I think is the key.
My biggest concern around it is that it can, if you know particularly when it comes to sort of political biases and things, if you specifically choose an algorithm which fits into your left-wing or your right-wing bias, then you create more of this silo.
Echo chamber.
The echo chamber sort of theory, that, you know, you're just sort of reinforcing your own views. And so I think that's quite dangerous, because I believe in sort of open discussion and discourse, and I like you know, if even people I don't believe in, I believe what they say, I, you know, support their right to say it, and I like the fact that, you know, they're in plain view. I can challenge their views, hopefully respectfully, but you can do that. Whereas if you push people into sort of the dark corners of the internet where they're just kind of reinforcing their own views, that's very sort of dangerous, I think. And I believe that having a marketplace of algorithms sort of could push people in that sort of direction.
I think that's the danger I think Twitter is kind of going in. A lot of, I'd say, left-wing people aren't paying the Twitter premium. There are some who are, but it's a lot of those people who are very, you know, big Elon supporters, you know, very supportive of the changes that are being made. And what's happening is obviously those tweets are being put on the For You page, mixed in with the stuff you're following. And I think that there's a danger there that because the algorithm, as you alluded to, it will keep generating that sort of echo chamber of thoughts and processes, and we don't get the discourse that we need in society to I guess benefit and strive properly.
Yeah. So the Doge founder himself, Elon Musk, isn't completely taking this sitting down. He has expressed an interest in making Twitter itself more decentralized. He has sort of toyed with the idea of sort of blockchains. Obviously, he's a big Dogecoin supporter. He recently switched the Twitter icon to the Doge icon. And obviously, Twitter already made its own algorithm open source last month.
Yes.
So people can go in and kind of see how the content is being recommended.
That was a big surprise.
Which was a big surprise, and is a good thing. You know, that at least gives people more sort of trust in at least how the content has been delivered to them.
So are you still on Twitter? Are you going to be jumping ship, go to Mastodon or any of these other platforms? Let us know in the comments below here on YouTube, because we'll be able to definitely read them then. And yeah, if you've got any thoughts, let us know by tweeting us at ShortJlim, that's J's instead of G,
or at Gadget_Right.
And we'll catch you next time. Ciao.